Okay, today is lesson 2.3 and we are subtracting rational numbers. By the end of the class, you should be able to subtract rational numbers using the rules that we learned for addition. Now, why do I say that? Remember negative 18 minus 4? Did we do subtraction? No, we sure don't. We add the additive inverse. So remember, keep, change, opposite. And remember, I told you this is going to get harder, so we have to know the rules. Number 1 says negative 1½ minus 1/2. We don't do subtraction, so we're going to keep, change, opposite. I'm going to make this negative 1½ plus negative 1/2. And remember, we can look at this on a number line. Start at 0. Every one of these is a tenth, so I'm going to go back to negative 1 1/2. And I'm going to add negative 1/2, which is going back even further. Okay? So remember, and I always try and look at this, look at the whole numbers, and I'm going to make that just a 1. Make it negative 1 plus negative 1. What would we really be doing? We'd really add them. So we're going to add these. We have 1½ plus 1/2. Well, they have the same denominators, so I'm going to add the fractions. 1/2 plus 1/2 is 2/2. This is 1, but we can't leave it as 1 and 2/2. That bumps that 1 up to a 2, and then we got to keep the sign, which is negative 2. So it's very important that you know the rules. Okay? So 3/10 minus 1 3/10, or I'm sorry, 6/10 minus 1 3/10. Keep. Change, opposite, which is negative 1 3/10. If I look at that on a number line, okay, I'm going to change my colors, go back up here. If I go over to 6/10, it's going to the right, 6/10, right here, and I add negative 1 3/10, I'm going back this way, aren't I? And what am I really going to do? We're really going to subtract, aren't we? So, which one's bigger with the absolute values? Well, that would be 1 3/10 minus 6/10. It is the same denominator, but I cannot take 6 from 3, so we have to borrow. Remember doing this at the beginning of the year? This becomes 0. Your new numerator, remember you add these two together, would be 13/10. So now I go 13/10 minus 6/10 is 7/10. And I take the sign of the 1 on top, which is negative. So my answer is negative 7/10. This also works for our decimals. Negative 1.9 minus 0.8. We don't subtract, so we're going to keep, change, opposite. Let's say this was really negative 19 plus negative 8, okay? What would we really be doing to those? We'd really be adding them. So the rule for adding and subtracting decimals, you line them up. So 1.8 plus 0.8, that's 17, carry the 1, 2.7, and I keep the sign, negative 2.7. Number 4 is 0.2 minus 0.7. Keep, change, opposite. If I had 2 plus negative 7, what would I really be doing? I would be subtracting. So take the absolute value of both of them. I put 0.7 on top, minus 0.2. I get 0.5, take the sign of the 1 on top, which is negative. Look at number 4.5. Okay, I'm going to keep, change, opposite, and look at this. If it was really 5 2/3 plus negative 8 4/5, if it was really 5 plus negative 8, what would I really be doing? I would be subtracting them, wouldn't I? Drop the signs, absolute value. I'm going to put 8. I'm going to do this one down here. No, it won't. 8 4/5 minus 5 2/3. I gotta get a common denominator between 5 and 3. When in doubt, multiply them together. I'm gonna make those 15s. And 5 times 3 here is 15, so 4 times 3 is 12. 3 times 5 is 15, so 2 times 5 is 10. Now I can subtract. 12 minus 10 is 2 over 15. 8 minus 5 is 3. Got to keep the sign of the one on top, which is negative. You have to know the rules. Okay, this one says find the distance between the two numbers on a number line. I'm going to sketch this out here. Okay, this is 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. -1, -2, -3, -4, -5, -6, -7, okay? If you look at this, they're asking me to find the distance between -3 and 1/4, which is about right here, and 6 1/2, which is going to be right here, okay? If you kind of count, it's going to be somewhere around 3, wouldn't you think? Well, how would you get that? Well, what you're going to do is you're going to find the absolute value of the difference. Difference means to subtract them. Okay, very important. So I'm going to put the absolute value, and it doesn't really matter which one I put first. I'm going to go with the big minus the small. Go big minus the small, because if you do that, your sign should be positive. So -3 and 1/4 minus -6 1/2. Well, let's keep change opposite. Keep change opposite. So it's really going to be the absolute value of -3 and 1/4 plus +6 1/2. Okay, now what we do is, okay, we're really subtracting those. So 6 1/2 minus 3 1/4. 4 is my common denominator, so this is times 2 times 2, that would be 2/4. 2/4 minus 1/4 is 1/4. 6 minus 3 is 3. And the absolute value of that is +3 and 1/4. Okay? So take the big minus the small. I want you to do number 6 and bring it back.